Board on computer. Okay.
Hello, everyone. It's Wednesday, and you know what? We finally have some nice weather today in the Chicago area. It's sunny and it's bright, and you know what? The whole weekend is supposed to be fantastic, and I am so looking forward to it. I'm going to be with my grandkids, and I expect to do a lot of fun stuff with them outdoors. We have a really great subject today, and it's just kind of something that I came across through, and Debbie thought it was a great idea. And it's just some basic facts that, a lot of people don't know or they do know. They do know. Sorry, can't speak well. They don't know or they do. And what they need to do is implement them because a lot of them are serious things. And we thought we would just bring up some of them. There was a lot of them. There's over 22, but we're just going to bring up 10 today. So with that, hi Deb, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Laura. I gotta just tell you, first of all, I got to see you yesterday, which was
Yeah,
always
oh, yeah,
fun. I love seeing
here.
you live. But I gotta tell you that when we're doing this each week, I feel like I'm always with you anyways, and it's
Yeah,
wonderful. I just wanted to tell you that, of course, you again rock in this department because you always seem to find Lori's always been the master. This has gone back for a long time, ever since we had the internet, where she's always been able to find stuff. And this is a really cool lineup of topics. They're mini little topics. Okay. We're gonna go through each little topic and put our 2 cents in, if you will. Okay. But always remember that whatever we talk about, we are don't claim to be anybody, but we claim to have common sense. How's that? Right? I think we claim to have common sense, and we think of what we feel like has happened when we've had these topics, and we're giving you guys like some meat and potatoes. But we always welcome that. If you guys can ever send back in the comments anything, we love hearing, we love knowing. This is how we teach. So for the health and wellness of you, and the teaching, and the sharing. Okay. So for whatever reason, as I pull mine up, Lori, mine starts on number 3. So do you want to look at number 1 and 2 and tell us what those are? I don't know why
yeah.
that happened.
You know what? It's about antibiotics and bacteria.
Okay.
Different antibiotics work different on bacteria. You
Hmm.
could take random antibiotics that you have stocked up in your home and assume that they would work for an infection. And antibiotics only work on bacteria, colds, are viral infections. So the viral infections are not going to be cured with antibiotics. Right away, we want to take those antibiotics that we had stored up that we never finished with the last prescription. So antibiotics are designed to fight bacteria, not viruses. It's a common misconception that antibiotics can cure viral infections like the common cold. Nope, not true, not true. So that's just a good tidbit to know and stuff. And antibiotics are for bacteria, okay? And cold and viruses you use over the counter prescriptions. You know what's really good is Mucinex, the liquid Mucinex. Have you used that yet?
Absolutely. Yes. I do it in the pill form or the liquid. Yes.
Oh my gosh, it was like the best thing for when I had a cold. And when you have COVID, antibiotics don't work, right, Deb? They have to
Right.
you have to use like over the counter stuff, Tylenol, your vitamins D, your vitamins zinc.
Hmm.
What other kinds that we use?
There's one here. Wait, I have it here. Let me see if I can find it. This is also supposed to be good. It's called quercetin or something like that. But you know what? Can I just interject?
Yeah.
I love what you're saying. And if I could do it all over again as a young mother back, if I could turn
Oh,
backwards, I would have not, and I'm not saying you guys don't put your kids on antibiotics or put your adult family or whatever, but if I could have avoided some of them, because they do break down your immune system sometimes. Okay, they do what they have to do, but then your good stuff that's going on, that's what you had to. So I've been, in my older years, I have been more in tune with more natural things, and some of the things that you can do and take over the counter too, obviously, but they're vitamin related and things like that that pump up your immune system. Because ultimately your immune system is what's going to do it. So
Great points, Deb. Really great points, My mom just happened to have the COVID for the first time. And I was telling her about, getting all these things. And I know the doctors here, and Debbie, you know what they give them to make the
Oh yeah.
COVID go end quicker. What
Yeah.
is the name of it?
You know what? I don't have the list in front of me, but I do know that zinc is one of them, D3 is one of them, C is one of them, tons of water. Um, oh, I can't remember all of it, but I do have it somewhere that, but again, you guys can get that. Like my doctor actually did give us that, which it's amazing to see that doctors are starting to think a little bit more outside of the box with some of these protocols. That some of them are more user friendly with your, let's call it your natural stuff than others, So,
Isn't there like a medication or something they could give you from
oh
the
yeah,
doctor?
there's one. I forgot the name of it, but there is one on the market, they say. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you call your doctor and your COVID's not right all the way into it. They could give you this. I
Yeah.
think it's the first couple of days.
Right.
It makes it go easy. Okay, the second one is food safety. We did a thing on this, but
Yeah.
I want to bring this up again because it's really, really important. One of the biggest things that I kind of stress is cross contamination.
Oh yeah.
That's when you put a spoon in one thing and then you take it out and put it in another thing.
Right.
Give them their own spoons. And as far as storage, make sure that you store it, I would say within 2 hours, because there's a lot of bacteria and even dust in your house could go in your food
Hmm.
and cause problems. And another thing is the fact of handling food with your hands. Make sure if you're using raw and even cooked stuff that you uh, not cross contaminate them, but also wash your hands
Yeah.
many times you can. Make sure you have a thing of soap on your sink by where you're preparing things. That is so important. And the thing is, food safety, again, a couple hours, maybe 3 hours at most if you're having a party and, maybe put some in the refrigerator and then take them out in a little bit. But it is really important because you could get sick so fast. Have you ever had food poisoning?
Yeah, I did. And I'll
I
tell you what, it's nasty. And I know it was some chicken, and you know what? It might have been my fault. I don't know if I undercooked it. I'm not sure, but I'll tell you what, it was nasty. How about yourself?
No, I haven't, but I heard it's terrible. You
Sir, it
know,
can be sometimes worse than others, but the good news is your body knows we got to get this stuff out and we got to get it out fast. And that's what happens. It is fast, mostly in both ways. But
that you do that because you know, and then if you eat leftovers, try to eat them within the next day, maybe 2 days the most, and then get rid of it. Because
yeah,
otherwise, again, cross contamination, you would not even realize, cross contamination. Maybe you have somebody that's over for dinner and they have a little bit of a cold, you got to watch all that stuff. We can't put sprays or in our food, but we could protect it with the right utensils and
right.
washing hands. Hey, Deb, you want to do the third one?
Sure. This one's a good one. Garbage disposal maintenance. You know what, guys? You really definitely have to make sure that you're running your garbage disposal. But one thing that's really super important too is, and I do this regularly, I put baking soda and white vinegar mixed and pour it in there, and that's a good cleansing. And then throw in some lemon. Sometimes if you have a whole lemon, like in my water, I have a chunk of lemon in there. So when I pour this out to clean my cup, I make sure that goes in there and gets ground up, and that'll keep the blades good, but it'll also keep it from smelling because so much stuff goes down there. Don't make the mistake that I've made. My husband yells at me all the time. If I'm like doing something like with pasta or rice, and it's something about how it can get very sticky. If you're putting things down the garbage disposal, you got to make sure that you're running the water for a long time after, so it does not get stuck somewhere. We have had food get stuck down there, and you got to go rot it out, and it is a mess. Okay, so do the proper maintenance so you don't have that stuff happen, and then also keeping it clean in there. So
Yeah,
lemon
no,
is a good
it's
one.
great. And if you want some other tips too, look it up on YouTube. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure you find some cool stuff, you know. Now the next one, you want to go to that one, Deb?
Well, I got to because this is a big deal for me. Okay.
Yeah.
Dryer vent and furnace filter maintenance. Okay. So let me just explain this. We have in our basement, the way that our laundry is, if you know that you've got the vent is venting all the way out and it's going out to your house. Well, a poor design was made, which we didn't catch when we were building the house. And instead of it going out to the closest that it could have, it traveled up, over, made a curve, and then went out. So
Oh,
what's
wow.
happening is you've got this big silver, they're the vents, okay, that go through and they're up in the ceiling. So we have the ceiling tiles. So my brother had told me that he cleans his regularly. Well, we hadn't cleaned ours for a very long time. We had five on an average of 5 people here. We got lots of laundry. Okay. So we're doing the laundry. And what had happened is that got very clogged throughout there. So what we ended up having to do to really clean it out is actually go in there and literally take apart the vents and go in there. We were getting watts. I'm not even kidding you guys, balls of this stuff. And we should have done it way before that. In addition to that, that's the maintenance in the vent area. But when it comes to the dryer, I'm on my third set of dryers in 18 years, which is actually, I guess, for the amount we use isn't bad. We have the front load. Okay. So anybody who has a front load, you got to YouTube it. And I've done it myself. So if I can do this, you can do it. There's a bottom part and you got to go, you got your vent that comes out, you got to clean all the time. There's a little thing that goes down in here. And I literally take a tool and I make sure that I suck it all out. But then there's also a place that you got to go on the front. Everyone's is different depending if you have an LG or whatever. And there's another area you got to go and you got to clean it out. And there's also a filter you have to clean out. If you don't clean these out on a regular basis, your dryer is working overtime and you're going to burn it out. I'm confident I already burnt, since I have on 3 sets, I'm pretty confident one of them got burnt out due to the lack of us doing the proper maintenance. So again, we're on our 3rd set now. The way they make appliances these days, they're not meant to last as long as they used to. But I think that I'm telling you, if you do the right things, I think you can make your appliances last longer in most cases. So take it from me, I learned the hard way. That's my advice. And maintenance filter. Oh, and furnace filter, same thing. Make sure you clean those. That's Tony's job. He does that. I do the vent on this. He does it on that. And he just actually put new ones on,
You have to do that. We live in kind of like an apartment, but we have a washers and dryers multiple. We just got some new dryers. It is a note on there. You're supposed to check and clean out the lint before you start your thing. And then the next person cleans out your lint. I always go back and do both. But it is important for the age of the dryer and stuff, because then they start breaking down. I once had it where my line of my dryer was completely clogged. And I had somebody come and they had to take it out. It was unbelievable how much stuff came out of it.
It is, yeah.
Good tip to hear. You know what, John? I'm gonna have you take this next one, this computer file storage, because you talked to me about that.
I gotta tell you, there's a gentleman that I met many years ago that was my neighbor. And he would always teach me how to make sure that you kept your computer clean. Okay. So now I'm not going to claim to be an expert, but I'm going to tell you a couple things that I do for maintenance. And they're the disk storage when you're not, Mac is different than your Acer or your other laptops and other computers. So I'm going to talk about those because we're on a Mac right now and I'm not sure exactly how to clean out some of the stuff. I'm aware of a little bit, I'm learning, but there's disk cleanup and disk fragmentation. And then there's computer file storage where you should actually take some of your things and file it and have a filing system so that you can have it on there. But you need to have a backup system because if you don't back it up, here's my backup system for that one computer. I actually have things backed up because I'm afraid I don't want to lose it until a a bigger drive, okay, which can plug in. So when I'm doing some of the documents and the things that I have to do, and then I'm constantly backing it up on this as well. So these are two golden things that I keep, because what if they say on the old traditional computers, not your Macs, that they can get stuff off the hard drive that's in that computer, but I'm not going to trust that. I've gone down that route before where I've had one blow up on me, not literally blow up, and lose things. So if you can keep things organized and try to, and then, for the most part, there's a lot of stuff we can go back and get, and even on my phone, we're talking about computer, but phone, I have files in my email too. In my Yahoo, I have files of stuff that I put into files so that I could go back and get, because it's impossible to have file cabinets with all this stuff too, And if you've got it on your phone and it's in your files and your stuff too, your iCloud and everything else, you got to triple dip back everything up, really, if you want to make sure you don't lose it all, right? But yeah, so I guess you want to be able to manage and have everything.
Definitely. We were just at Best Buy yesterday, and we're thinking of buying a new desktop. Do you know that desktops are not that popular anymore?
No, they're not.
No, people are just getting the laptops and the tablets. We only had 3 models there. I was like in shock. For us older people, I just have to say this. Gary and I were walking through Best Buy yesterday, and we felt like we were in another world
Oh
because
yeah.
everything was so advanced, and we were just like, "Oh, this is crazy." We walked out of there, our heads were spinning. It was crazy. Well, the next one, I have a little bit of experience with knowing people with schizophrenia or multiple personalities. There's a big difference between the two. Schizophrenia is almost it has almost like a paranoia to it. They hear voices. They think people are following them. They think they're getting watched by people. They might act weird, like as if they do have multiple personalities, but actually they don't. It's a crazy disorder, and it's a sad disorder, and they need to take medication. And medication helps them not to have so many of these things. But I went out with somebody that was schizophrenic. I didn't know it till the end, but it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. He would and it's not like he was bipolar and screaming and yelling at me. He just the whole weirdness of thinking people are following him and talking to him was crazy enough. And then the next one is multiple personalities. I'm very aware of that. And people could have multiple personalities. They could talk different, they could act different. Sometimes they know that personality. Sometimes it's funny, you could have the good personality and the bad personality. In my case, the person that has this, the good personality narcs on the bad personality. It's like they're twins. It's absolutely crazy. So both of those disorders can be treated with medication and, of course, counseling and psychiatrists. So if you do, if you have anybody or anybody in these things, look into trying to help them get the help that they need from doctors, because they can live a good life. They just need to be medicated and taken care of by doctors. With that, I didn't know this next one, Debbie. Did you?
Here's the thing. I'm a little perplexed on this one. So I'm just going to say, we're going to say this mildly because everything's changes, but it says water intake for babies. I used to give my kids chamomile tea, which was all water, and I boil it and make chamomile to kind of for their tummies. And I gave them a little bit. Now it's this little thing is saying babies below 6 months shouldn't drink water. It could be fatal. So I'm not sure what the protocol is on that. So if anybody hears this or sees it, new mom or whatever, and you want to add in your, your information, I don't know, Laura, what do you think? I mean, I know that
additional water can lead to water intoxication for children under 6 months. Do you remember when we first got our kids, they had those little bottles of water that were like, especially for babies, but they were little bottles, or you got the big one, but they
Yeah,
had those little ones. I remember getting them from the
yeah,
hospital. So
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if it's because the way the water is now. Water's a lot different. You know, they did a lot of studies on water, and people rarely drink their own water out of their tap anymore.
right, right.
Oh, and there's so many different kinds of water, you don't know. There's some that are spring water and some are, filter their water. So I guess they just say better off not having anything. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think, and also again, when in doubt, always trust your
Yeah,
trustworthy pediatrician that you're happy with, if that's the case, you know?
yep, yep. Well,
Um,
the next one, go ahead, Deb. We have
sure. Yeah, grease fire and water. Oh my goodness. I've had grease fire. One time we had, when we lived in a condo, when we were first married, I actually had uh bacon in the broiler and it caught on fire. And it was like nasty. And so, okay, you never want to put water on it. Okay. And I didn't. Luckily I didn't. We got the fire extinguisher and but it says you want to smother the fire with a lid or baking soda, which I didn't even know baking soda, so that's good to know. And you always want to have a fire extinguisher within your, proximity. I have one underneath my sink in my kitchen, and I have one under my sink in my laundry room. And I think it's just good to know because what if, you know? But yeah, never grease on water on the grease. That's for sure, you know?
the temperature difference.
I don't know. I really don't. I don't know.
And I should look it up. I always kind of question it because of the water, like the
Yeah.
grease is hot and the water. I mean,
Yeah.
your fire could get worse because of water.
Right.
You would think just the opposite. And
Well,
that's always everybody's first reaction is they get water.
right. Well, I think that that's why like fire extinguishers, I mean, I get it. There's got to be like maybe,
Yeah.
when especially firefighters too and stuff. But Laura, this one's an interesting new one, next one, because I have something comical to say about this, but go for it.
Or to have
What's it? Okay, you got to move closer because I can't. Oh,
You
it's
know
okay.
me, I don't sit still. If you ever watch me, I'm
I
moving.
know, I know, we're both like that. Well, the only reason I would say is they got this winter tires, okay? Winter tires are more about how they handle freezing temperatures than they are for snow and ice. And all season tires are not winter tires. But I gotta say something crazy about this. Do you remember when we used to put the tires that had like the chains on them or they had the studs on
Yeah,
them?
yeah.
Okay, we used to change our tires back in the day, and you had to change them by a certain time, and then you had to actually turn around and by a certain date you have to have those tires off and then put your old tires on your car so that you weren't ruining the pavement. So just to give you guys an idea that like we came from that era. I don't
Yeah.
do anything about my tires. My tires are my tires. I have four-wheel drive and I just whatever, but it says the rubber compound in winter tires remain soft in freezing temperature, providing better traction. So I guess they're probably referring to what we used to have.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody. I don't know one soul that I know that changes their tires in the season. So I don't know if they're referring to doing that or not, but what's your take on it?
I know the winter tires are very expensive.
Yeah.
So people don't always have that added expense. But I know we did in our business because we had the flower shop and we delivered stuff. We changed the tires and put the winter tires on. But it does kind of make sense if you live in an area where there's a lot of snow and everything, you should get the winter tires. Because usually, tires get bald fast. And
Hmm.
if you're ever stuck in snow and you have bald tires, they're just gonna keep spinning and spinning and spinning. So
Yep.
yeah. So the next one is probably the last one we're gonna talk about, right,
Yep.
Deb? Because
That sounds good.
uh periodontist, and I hope I say that right, because
Hmm.
are correlated together. And you wonder why, okay? Periodontist is gum disease, okay? And it could be a precursor for getting heart disease. The
Hmm.
bacteria that causes disease can enter your bloodstream and lead to inflammation in the blood vessel, increasing the risk of heart disease. Did you know that?
I've heard that before, but you know what? That makes it so much more sense. We've talked about dental before. We did a segment on the dentist. And it's all that kind of stuff. And honestly, it makes perfect sense that your health of your mouth can dictate what goes into your system. Think about it. It's perfect sense. So I think everybody should, if you haven't seen the dentist on the time frame that you do, your allowable time frame, usually they say it's twice a year, one for a full thing, and the second time you're supposed to get your cleaning. You better think about that, because it's not only like just for your teeth, which is important, it's for the health of your whole body. It's huge.
Exactly.
Huge.
You know how I look at it? I have a funny way of looking at it. I think of my teeth as the dishes. So when you eat, don't you want to wash the dishes afterwards?
Right.
I mean, it is really basically like that. So I tell my granddaughter that all the time. You need to brush your teeth. It's like washing the dishes. You gotta clean them.
May I add one thing in there? With the sports-minded sports world, with people drinking Gatorade and drinking things, okay? And even if it's the low sugar one or whatever, our dentist had told Mariano, my grandson, that when he goes to drink Gatorade, he should drink it before his sports, but he should drink water afterwards to flush any sugar that could remain in his mouth. And then when he's playing his sport, do a like a hydrated style water that has like the stuff in there. Don't do your sugary drink, because you're constantly doing that sitting in your mouth. And it goes for anything. It could go for people who are soda drinkers that have sugar in it, or juice drinkers. Think about those little children as they're drinking their stuff and it's just sitting in there.
Yeah, right.
Not
You know,
good. Follow up with water. Water will flush it. So
you know, kids don't have a lot of the same issues we had because of the water system and their
right,
toothpaste and stuff.
right.
But if going back to the candy, it's huge. My granddaughter is a huge candy person, and she's already had cavities. She's 7, and
Yeah.
already had one of her baby teeth pulled.
Mariano had a cavity. Yes. So
And so, and it's just really strange, but it is important. Brush your teeth and know that could cause heart disease. So if heart problems run in your family, definitely look into taking care of that for yourself. Look on the internet, find different ways that you can do to prevent that from happening. So with that, Deb, you have anything else to say?
nope, I think we're good. And I think that, we have another half of these subjects that we have that we can do on another day. I think this is great, because I think these are Simple Simon things that we need to talk about. And we just hope everybody loves, a lot of our topics that we have. And we just wish that you will also just refer us and share us and, our rules and, all that kind of stuff. But with that, Laura, do you want to close us out?
Sure do. I just want to say, I'm not sure where we're at today. The other day I checked, we were at 690.
Okay.
People. So I don't know if we made it over the 700, but please, please, please get people to watch us. We love having different inputs on different things and different topics. But then I'm going to say, have a blessed day. And I'm Lori.
And I'm Debbie.
And we're friends helping friends. Have a great week. Take care now.